Hi, so sorry, I'm in my gym clothes. I'm a couple videos behind, so I'm gonna try to catch up today. Okay, so hormonal weight gain, imbalances that sabotage weight loss. So your hormones are so much more than estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. Um, and a lot of people, they feel stuck. They're doing the lifestyle, they're doing the diet, they're doing the exercise, and the scale is like either keeps going up or it refuses to budge. And they've been told, it's all calories in, calories out, and everybody's frustrated. And your hormones control a lot, um, from your metabolism to your hunger to your fat storage, to your sleep, your mood. They're major players. So one of them is insulin. Everybody's kind of heard of insulin, but so insulin helps your body use energy, use glucose. Insulin, it helps things go into the cell. So it's a hormone. It opens the gate. Okay, so whenever you have insulin resistance, the gate is rusted and it won't open. Okay, so your cells are resistant to that insulin, so insulin can't help glucose go into the cell. It can't open the gate, because the gate's stuck. Okay, so you need more and more insulin, to try to get that gate open, to get the cells to be sensitive to insulin. And this leads to fat storage because yes, insulin helps glucose go into the cells, but whenever there's a lot of it, it just starts storing fat. Like, we got to do something, we need a job to do. So if you have too much insulin, it stores fat. Okay, leptin. Talked about this a couple times before. Leptin tells your brain you're full. It's produced in your fat cells, and it's common for people with obesity to have a leptin resistance. Your body, your hypothalamus can't hear that leptin. It can't say, "Hey, we have a lot of fat storage. We're satisfied." Um, so there's a leptin resistance. Ghrelin. Think of it. Remember, your stomach growls when it's hungry. When it's hungry, ghrelin is a hunger hormone. So whenever um, you're dieting, ghrelin often goes up because your body's like, oh, we need more energy. When you're sleep deprived, it can make cravings intense, and it can cause portion control to be tougher. It really can. And you're hungry more often. Just the thought of a diet makes me hungry, right? Okay, cortisol, stress triggers cortisol. um, Cortisol encourages fat storage. So in the short term, it's very good. Cortisol is very good. That fight or flight response, your body is ready to burn energy. It's ready to get it going. In chronic stress, that's not good because it's ready to store energy, especially around those internal organs. Okay, so chronic stress, chronic cortisol, weight gain. Your thyroid hormones, T3, T4, particularly, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone, your TSH, which is usually what your primary care will check for whenever it's checking your thyroid. That's produced. Oh crap! I think it's in your pituitary gland. Anyway, that is your body trying to stimulate your thyroid to produce these thyroid hormones, the T3 and the T4. So if your stimulating hormone is high, that's really trying to wake up your thyroid because your thyroid is underactive. Okay, so it's trying to say, hey, come on, wake up here. So there's a lot of stimulating hormone. There's a lot of TSH trying to wake that thyroid up. Okay, if your TSH is low, that means your thyroid is overactive and it doesn't need to be stimulated. So your brain's like, oh, we don't need to put out that stimulating hormone. Okay, so you have an overactive thyroid. They're kind of opposite. Okay, your estrogen, testosterone. Oh, how it affects your weight is that's your metabolism, your thyroid hormones. Okay, especially if it's underactive, you could have fatigue, depression, weight gain, constipation. So it's pretty important to monitor that. Your sex hormones, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, obviously. Low testosterone in men can cause, weight gain around the abdominal area, that visceral fat. It really affects fat distribution, lean muscle mass, appetite, you know, fat mass, and estrogen too. Especially during perimenopause or menopause, those estrogen progesterone shifts really can add on that abdominal obesity. Very, very common after menopause. So what happens in obesity? We get a resistance. The body doesn't just have more fat. It is distributed differently. The communication system is disrupted in your body, and that balance between normal and abnormal gets thrown off. So people have leptin resistance, they can have insulin resistance, they can have too much ghrelin and cortisol. The estrogen, the sex hormones can be all thrown off. So it isn't about willpower. There's a lot of dysregulation happening. There's a lot of resistance happening. So what you could do to help, strength train, like numero uno, lean muscle mass. Think of lean muscle mass as a sugar burning engine, and it uses a lot of sugar. And your muscles, while you're strength training, can bypass that insulin need and just directly use glucose, which is fascinating. But your metabolic health is tied up in your lean muscle mass. So lean muscle mass is all important. It's probably not going to help you lose weight, but it's very important for your metabolic health. Therefore, by treating obesity, it is extremely important, okay? So strength training, of course, weight loss. Everybody knows 5 to 10% of your weight can improve your health by insane amount, improve insulin sensitivity, lower inflammation, help restore your hormone balances. A healthy diet is very, very important. Stress, sleep is important, okay? Human connection is important. Humans get very messed up whenever we don't have human connection. So community is important. It really is for your treatment. Okay, so we could test like a fasting insulin to see if you're insulin resistant. We could test your glucose. If we need to, we could test your leptin levels, but it's kind of expensive and not really necessary. Thyroid panel, we can check your cortisol if we need to. And of course, sex hormones, we can check that all day long. Treatments might include GLP-1 medications, thyroid hormone replacement, testosterone replacement, menopausal hormone replacement could be in there. Stress management strategies, cognitive behavioral therapy, targeted supplements. If cortisol is your issue, then there's a lot of cortisol supplements, a lot of stress supplements that we can handle, like ashwagandha at night, stuff like that. Lifestyle change, strength training, getting morning sun, morning light before 10 a.m., at least 10 minutes, can help reset that circadian rhythm. Just little things. Little things over time add up. Small changes over time add up. Okay? So testing, it just takes the mystery out of it. And if we're doing testosterone supplementation, it's necessary to test your testosterone to make sure we don't overshoot that a lot. But females, we can kind of go off of symptoms. We don't really have to check estrogen and progesterone. It doesn't tell us a whole lot because our hormones are like this anyway, so it's all crazy. But testosterone, we have to make sure that's within range for both men and women. So it's not just about calories. It's about chemistry. Calories are awesome. They're a good guideline. It gives you kind of a general budget to aim for. But there's no magic formula. We kind of have to tweak it, and it's going to change too. It's going to change for you personally. So we'll get an idea from calories, but don't put too much weight into calories at all. So we could check a whole lot we could do. This is not to diagnose or treat anybody. Talk to your practitioner. This is just informational purposes only.